The LEGO Star Wars games. What is more recognizable in Star Wars games than the overall amount of studs in the LEGO Star Wars games? So many, in fact, that this challenge that I'm going to be doing will be really hard. Because with this game, there is so many studs, and so many other people have done throughout the complete saga, but those will be almost the same amount of studs that you can get almost per mission. There's almost 100 studs that are almost all avoidable in one singular mission. But I'm not here to answer, can you beat this game without collecting any studs? The short answer, no, you cannot. But I can say that you can beat the game with collecting as few amount of studs as possible. Now this may be difficult because there are so many studs in this game. Let's start off with some ground rules, okay? We are not counting vehicle segments because there are so many unskippable studs that it would literally take like the stud count of 100 per mission that are unskippable to almost 200 in just those single little segments. So we are not counting those. And we are not counting vehicle segments when you're playing as like an ATST, speeder bike, stuff like that. We're not counting those either because there are a large amount of studs in there as well that you cannot skip. Because your stud magnet, when you're using those vehicles, are so big, no matter how far you get away from them, you will still collect them. And we will not be counting studs that just automatically funnel into you, because that is not fair. You can not even try to avoid those. But so we will also not take into account the running towards the camera sections, because there is no way to dodge most of those studs in there as well. So now, if I did count them, there would be an easier way to pad the counter. So, yeah, that is the ground rules. And if I don't mention if a stud's skippable or not, they're probably skippable. I won't mention when they're unskippable. Here is where our first unskippable studs are. And see, when you build that, it becomes a path of studs that you cannot skip. I have tried it numerous times to skip them. You cannot. It is impossible to skip them. But so, there are mandatory 7 studs that you have to collect in this part because you cannot skip these. One of those was skippable. It was the far right one that I hit into. But so, that was our first unskippable one. Not looking out good. After we acquire Wicket, the little question mark thing will break and giving us like 9 studs. So, not looking good. And those are unskippable. Now, upcoming here, there are 3 unskippable studs. The first one I just picked up right there is skippable, so you can jump around it. But so, upcoming for the next ones, you aren't really able to skip them after you build the ladder, because there will be like 5 studs pop up that literally follow you up the stairs. So if you try to get up there with Wookiee Man, I know his name's Chewbacca, but I'm not calling him that. So if you try to get up there without those things, you cannot. So, not looking so good. I will tell you after this mission when we have our full unskippable studs. Those ones were skippable. And here we come, the next couple unskippable ones. There are 2 ones that you can't go without. Those ones, they are unskippable. You cannot go without them. Oh, then that question mark block will break again, giving us another 9 studs. So, yes. This will be painful. After we do an intense zoom in on the ATST, it'll spawn us on a stud. On 2 studs. So, yay. Well then, once we get into this gun segment, after we defeat them, and they'll funnel in some studs. So, that's why I'm not counting them. Then plus, the metal will break when you complete the mission, which will give you extra studs. Now you explain why I'm telling you no more funneling? After that, we will land on 3 studs. So, it's great. Totally good. And as I said, funneling in. After we collect the Ewok gang, there will be a couple unskippable studs. That entire row of studs right there are unskippable. I'm pretty sure a few of them are. Nope, none of them. Then we will come across 3 unskippable studs. So, yay. After we destroyed the ATST, there will be a couple studs that we can actually skip. If you just stick to one side, mainly the right side, which has no more studs on it, you can just skip those entire studs. And this will be the most of the skippable studs for a little while now. You got pranked. Once you complete this little minigame, you will actually just automatically get studs, which is not so good. You will just automatically get studs funneled out, and you cannot get rid of them. You cannot swap during this. So, that is very great. Now then, plus, there are at least 2 unskippable studs. You can skip one of them. I clicked up, so, Now, with this ATSC segment, which I will just speed it up after we throw this man out of the vehicle, but this will be extremely important to show just on how much studs that are unskippable there are in this stage. Starting off with just there, so we'll be back once the stage is over. Well, while the video is playing, I'm going to tell you just on why this video is so long in one singular episode of this game. It's because these missions in this game are so incredibly long, even without trying to stop not collecting studs, that it is so freaking long. 20 minutes long for every mission. No, you cannot change it. So, next videos will be shorter because they will have the vehicle sections just fully cut out, but this is just to show you on how a mass amount of studs you just collect in these single vehicle section, and you cannot change these, so that is why I don't have them in here. So, after you build the helmet dispenser, just wait till studs disappear, then you can go and put on the helmet and get farther with the mission. But the 5 studs over here are unskippable. You cannot skip these, no matter what. Now onto the Palpatine boss fight. Every stud over here is skippable. You can go without touching not a single one of them. But you just have to be very strategic. After you build each one of the ships, when they dispense the studs, are actually avoidable. You can get out of the way of the studs and not get affected by them. As we start up the next part, we automatically collect a stud. We cannot change that, it just spawns us right next to it. But how to not collect any of these studs is to just stay on the outskirts and try not to get as close to the studs as you possibly can. This thing that you will choke with Vader will actually dispense studs. You can actually get away from those. You can get away from most of them. 2 of them are unskippable though. And then everything else in this is actually skippable. No more studs. But we'll be showing the Death Star segment where you actually do the Death Star run with the Lando and the Millennium Falcon. But I will have it sped up just so you can see on how many studs are unskippable in this scene and how it would just immediately destroy this entire thing we're trying to do. And this will be a little reminder for every other vehicle section, we will more than likely skip them. So, just to put it there, so you know. As we finish up the Death Star section, we will go straight to Chapter 1. And here's the stud count. We are only counting 42 studs because they were the only ones that fit our criteria of the stud counting section. As we are going to pull this down, make sure when it lands on the floor, make sure to get out of the way of the studs. And try not to step into any other studs while you're doing it. When you build any of these things now, make sure you get out of the way so that the Lego studs don't come at you and get you when you're on the way out. And now see, look, one got to me. So, as we slide this over to get BB-8 to the panel, and we go to him and we get to the panel, we automatically collect all 3 studs that are up here. So, and then once we complete that little hacking minigame, it gives us 10 studs out of the blue. So, and this will be a thing with all panels. When you complete a panel, like a hacking panel, you will automatically get studs. So, once you get over to the store, make sure you just shoot the thing and you get as far away from the studs as possible so you don't collect any of them. Same thing once you built the thing. Make sure you get as far away as you possibly can so you don't collect any of the studs that come falling down. Once the studs have disappeared, you can actually aim with BB-8 and fire out the electricity spiking thing. So you can use this at any point in time when there's studs underneath the thing. So this isn't just a one-time ordeal. Once we get over to here, you automatically collect studs. And it doesn't matter even if you get into the middle of all of them. It doesn't even matter. It'll just automatically make it so you collect studs and also just get out of the way of the studs that come falling down. They will sometimes automatically get to you. So, then you'll just need to use the same thing you did with BB-8 a couple seconds ago. Now here's what I did. There was a whole bunch of stuff inside this little hut, and so I just destroyed it from the door. But after you build this Gonk droid, it gives you like 3 studs the second you build them. But the studs that are on the floor that Poe is currently standing on, they will not be automatically collected, which is a good thing. When we're in the farther stage of the level, when you build the BB panel that I'm currently using, you just make sure you get out of the way of the studs when they come flying over. And the next thing that I do is a very smart tactic when you're trying not to collect studs. Just fire at these guys from behind so you don't collect any of the studs and they won't be able to get to you. A couple seconds later, we will come across a BB-8 hacking panel, in which once we complete this BB-8 hacking panel, it'll give us 7 studs. 3 of them will conveniently pass straight over our heads and will not be collected. Just like with a couple seconds ago, just shoot everything in the entire area to just avoid the studs. Other than everything else that has studs pop out, just try to avoid them as much as possible. When you build the things, you just avoid them. So, that'll pretty much do it for the rest of this mission. So, So, I want to talk a little bit while the gameplay is playing, so, yeah, look at that. But so, this is going to be a 3-part series. The reason why I don't have more than 2 chapters in here is because if I put more than 2 chapters in here, it'll be 20 minutes long, and I don't want to do that. I want it to be like 15 minutes. And so the next 2 videos of this series should be somewhere below or above 15 minutes, and it should have 5 chapters in them each time. So, yeah. But I am going to be speaking on why I'm doing this, just because I saw an opportunity with people doing this with the complete saga, and no one has done it with The Force Awakens, so, yeah, you can do that, because I'm going to be the first one to do the Force Awakens version. But so, we will not be counting the vehicle sections, we will not be putting them in at all, so, for the next one, so, I'm just going to let that all out. It'll all be there. And also, thank you to Sovereign Gaming and Six Tunes for giving me the ideas to do this for LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. They did it for the Complete Saga and also like the Clone Wars, eh. So thank you for them.